can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I feel like $100,000.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Wise.
Dr. Jeremy Weiss here, founder of InspiredInsider.com, where I talk with inspirational entrepreneurs like the founders of P90X, Atari, many more, how they overcome big challenges in life and business. This is part of the e-commerce mastery series where top sellers and experts teach you what really works to boost your business. Our sponsor today is Rise25.com, which helps service professionals, doctors, lawyers, accountants, coaches create additional revenue streams, stop trading time for dollars. They hold you accountable to achieve your biggest goals with a step-by-step roadmap. Check out Rise25.com. It's run by myself, co-founder John Corcoran, and it's application only. I am very excited to introduce Marc Werner. He's the founder of Nature's Sleep and Ghostbed.com. He founded the company in 2001 and grew it to over 11 factory and warehouse locations worldwide in the US, Brazil, and Spain. They've sold millions of mattresses and offer a 20-year warranty. And he learned the value of maintaining the high-quality products from his family of inventors and innovators in the ladder business. And I just found out talking to him that we are actually distant cousins by marriage. We're related. So, Marc, thanks for joining me.
A pleasure to be here.
How did you initially get in front of people? What were some of the methods you did to, get that initial buzz and so people started spreading it?
A lot of missionary work, just knocking out a lot of doors and calling a lot of people and getting the door slammed and being the new guy. And, it just doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It doesn't happen overnight. So, I started the Nature Sleep thing 15 plus years ago and knocked on a lot of doors, got, disappointed many times, but you just can't give up. You just have to keep doing it and putting up with the crap and just keep doing it. That's all you can do. Okay. And just keep the hard work. And you can't get too disenfranchised. You have to keep going and going. And on the Ghostbed side, which is our direct-to-consumer side.
So that other side, the Nature Sleep, is more you go to the different mattress stores or companies or the stores.
That's either a .com, an Amazon.com or Costco.com or Costco retail, a retail store where it's a brick and mortar. That's what Nature Sleep does. Mattresses, pillows, toppers, dog beds, memory foam slippers, etc. All kinds of different variations, etc. that you could buy physical brick and mortar or on their respective online stores.
Right.
Ghostbed is my sister company where that's my what's called direct to consumer, the new direct to consumer space. And that's different because now I can directly interact with the customer. I can advertise and I can engage with the end customer and have a one-on-one relationship that I've never had that before because I've always gone through wholesale distribution.
Right.
In the ladders, we sold Home Depot. They sold the customer. I didn't know the customer. I see people that have my product, but I didn't interact with them. Now I get to interact with them. It's awesome, because I get the feedback, what they like, they don't like, et cetera, et cetera. And we have a whole customer support team that's interacting with them either telephonically, web chats, or social media. I mean, the amount of questions that come into the social media is nonstop.
Yeah.
Most of them are very nice. Some people, not all people are very nice. So they can be a little aggressive. Maybe they're a little bit inebriated. Maybe they just had a bad day. Maybe they just feel like dumping on someone. But, they can light it up a little bit. But our game plan is always be nice.
So, Marc, you are super busy enough. What made you decide to torture yourself and create Ghostbed?
My Ghostbed plan was laid out years ago.
Was it? Okay.
Years ago. The original mattress I designed for Ghostbed was in 2007. The only change I made to my original design was I substituted the memory foam for the newer technology today, which is gel memory foam. Obviously some new fabric technologies. But that original design, because I knew it was a great design that I was made for some other retailers in 2007, was just a great design. But I knew you had to go direct because
you did, okay. Because you could have just as easily brought that to your, Nature Sleep and have another product line,
Oh, I could have, and I sold a similar bed pretty much through the Nature Sleep. But the market is changing. So you've got a consolidation in the brick and mortar space, massive consolidation. So there's fewer customers, just like in every industry. It's an oligopoly. There's only a handful of people.
Yeah.
So the smaller guys are weaker, and they are higher credit risk, all kinds of other challenges, unfortunately. And the bigger guys have gotten much bigger and more powerful and more demanding. I mean, just in our industry recently, you had Mattress Firm, the biggest retailer out there, get divorced with their biggest supplier, Tempur-Pedic Sealy. So here's a thing where Tempur-Pedic's probably doing $700 million worth of their $3 billion in sales with one customer. Jeez. And that's at wholesale. So on retail, that's probably $1.5 billion worth of retail sales for Mattress Firm.
Right.
And the two firms had enough disagreement about whatever the issues are, and let's leave those to them, that got divorced. And it was a very public divorce, and it's very painful. They're just going through the first couple months of it, and I'm sure it will be, a pretty big game changer in our space.
How does that affect you?
It probably in a couple of ways, both of which I would say would be in a positive way, in terms of an opportunist way. But I wouldn't want to say too much more. Mattress Firm's a great company, and we are fortunate enough to supply them.
Yeah.
And Tempur-Pedic, just a competitor. Tempur and Sealy is a competitor, but really good, smart people and make good products, and been a real pioneer in the industry for a very long time. So these things happen, but it's really the result, I think, of the concentration of power. And when when there's fewer players, they just both have a lot of power.
Right.
And so, it's more difficult in the business world to deal in those situations. Rather than having 1,000 customers, you've got 10 customers doing the same business as 1,000. It changes that dynamics quite a bit on both sides, and that's the beauty and kind of the evolution of the direct-to-consumer business.
Yeah.
Because now I can deal direct with the end consumer, give a much better deal to the end consumer, because you are eliminating some layers of distribution costs. And the consumer wins. Consumer always wins. When the consumer wins, everyone wins, because that's what really matters.
Mm-hmm.
And the consumer's savvy, and they're always going to find the most efficient thing. And if you look at most retailing venues today, they're an outcry of some next generation from prior things. The Home Depot got successful because all these other distributors, the roofing distributor and the plumbing distributor and electrical distributors, were all little kind of industries of distribution networks that were multiple step distributions. Like, who needed to hand off a pipe 3 times before the plumber got it? If the plumber went basically right to the guy who made the pipe, it would be cheapest for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So now he can cost effectively go to a Home Depot, who can afford to buy in mass volume, big bulky things, and let the plumber buy it at a cost effective rate.
Yeah.
But as Home Depot became successful, it's because all these other kind of cottage industry distributors went out of business. No different than what Amazon's doing to all of retail today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from Macy's to Kohl's to Nordstrom's, Bed Bath, you name it, everyone's continues to restructure and reorganize and try to get the omni-channel thing right.
Right.
It's gonna be a hell of a challenge. And as soon as they're done with this restructuring, a year from now, they'll have the next restructuring. It'll be more stores and more people laid off, because the Amazon effect is monstrous. I mean, people need to understand, embrace Amazon. They're a phenomenal company, and it's just an easy shopping experience. They made it really easy, and they spent a long time building out incredible, network on all fronts. It's the most powerful, startup of all times, and but it's a real threat to majority of retailers.
Like brick and mortar, yeah.
Yeah, it's a real threat.
Where can people buy Ghostbed? Obviously, they can go to ghostbed.com. Where else can they purchase it?
So you can go to ghostbed.com or Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And we've kept the distribution very, very limited to that.
Mm-hmm. What I see, Mark, you do really well is you surround yourself by a good team. Could you talk about how you bring on a team for Nature Sleep and Ghostbed? Because I think there was a high-level person in Tempur-Pedic, and you probably have like a number of people who have come together and helped build the company?
We have hired people slowly, and we've tried to find people that kind of share our kind of work ethic and core values. I like a safe environment. I like people to be treated well. I don't like a pressure cooker. I'm a workaholic. I don't expect people to do what I do. I'm
Right.
60 years old. I get home at 10 o'clock at night. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Right.
I like it. I don't mind it. My wife accepts it. And we're just in a crazy growth mode the last couple of years, especially. So it's even more taxing. But we've tried to hire the kind of right people, and our team is long term. I don't have much turnover.
Right.
We try to pay people well. We treat people well. We give good benefits. We try to make it a solid environment.
What do you hire for first when you're initially hiring? Because, like you said, you're hiring slow. Who do you hire first?
At the very beginning, I think you like in my situation, I'm able to do a number of things. I can develop products. I understand economics. I understand logistics. I understand sales, and I can sell. So I can wear a lot of hats.
Right.
I'm used to that. So it depends, for different startup entrepreneurs, what their skill sets are. If they're pretty young and they don't have much experience, they might only have one core strength. Maybe he's a programmer or something.
Right.
He's a programmer and needs to find the resources elsewhere. But you got to have sales. I always say you can have a great product, but if you don't have sales, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference.
Right.
Everything starts with the top line. You got to have sales. And then you got to have some kind of finance accounting function. So you got to have capital. You got to be able to account for everything. You got to know what things cost. You can't fake yourself. You got to know what things cost. And you can't bullshit yourself whatsoever. And so you need someone that can help you and be very honest in that role. And then, especially on the digital side, this is a marketing game. You've got to have the digital marketing strength. You've got to have the marketing strength. You've got to have an operations person that really understands the core issues, the product, the purchasing of the product, the contracting of the product, the quality of the product, et cetera, et cetera. And, you bring that together, and then the customer experience people and that team and processing of orders. I always say here, we're kind of a transaction factory. In the old days, we used to get orders from big accounts and you'd ship truckloads, 10 truckloads of ladders for this guy. One order, 10 truckloads. Now, each truckload's, 400 orders. So now you get 4,000 orders instead of one order. So now you got to process 4,000 orders.
Yeah.
And
Logistics,
make sure everything's entered properly and the right item gets shipped to the right person at the right time. And the tracking number gets to everybody. So it's a different kind of game today.
Yeah.
And you have to have the systems that set that up. You need the IT people. And then you need to kind of take advantage of these great software systems and cloud-based systems and the evolution of it, because it's really changed over the years. And I've watched it change from traditional accounting to the type of way we do accounting today. I mean, debits and credits haven't changed, but just the efficiency of the software to handle this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when information comes in, you want to capture it once and explode it through your system, so you keep touching it and re-entering it.
What kind of software do you use to run the e-commerce side of things?
So at the Ghostbed, we use WordPress as the software, which is very popular, and then we use WooCommerce, the shopping engine. For running our business, we're actually just transitioning to an upgraded system on April 1st, after a year of hard conversion and training and research, to NetSuite, which is now part of Oracle. So we're going to a complete cloud-based, cutting-edge system with NetSuite, and we're very excited about that.
Nice.
And that will encompass it's what I call ERP.
It'll be like inventory management type of stuff too? Or?
Everything. Yeah. Order entry, inventory, financials, marketing. It's the everything system. Mm-hmm. And we did a lot of evaluations, and we decided that made the most sense for our circumstances. So we go live with that.
Nice.
And then everything's tied back to your mobile phone, so you have complete visibility of whatever you need, and it's great. And it's also it's a complete cloud system. So we're headquartered in South Florida, so we do occasionally get the hurricanes and lose power for a week or so. So that's it's a smart backup.
Yeah, Mark, Thank you so much for your time. This has been hugely valuable. I have one or two last questions for you. Everyone should check out naturessleep.com. I guess for this purpose, people should go more towards ghostbed.com,
Ghostbed.
right?
Yeah.
So they should ghostbed.com and check out, you have a bunch of different products, pillows, beds. Anywhere else we should point people towards as far as the Ghostbed side?
I think that would be good. Obviously our Facebook page has a lot of traffic, a lot of fun stuff. But the website is very informative.
Yeah.
And has a lot of information.
Yeah.
And part of our value proposition is basically the Ghostbed is for under $800 you get a queen mattress delivered, and we ship in 24 hours, and you have a 101 night sleep trial. So if you don't like it, we pick it up and we donate it to a charity, so you don't have to worry about that. And it's the same basic mattress I sell brick and mortar people, I won't mention their names, but major names, that they would be selling for $3,000.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So, kind of shows you the value proposition.
For sure.
And we back it with 20 years worth of warranty.
Quality, yeah. So last question, Mark, is one I always ask since it's in Inspired Insider, what's been the lowest business moment, and on the flip side, what's been one of the proudest moments in business for you?
Well, I think one of the lowest would be a pretty sad story where one of our female employees, who's in the computer programming area, was coming to work last year at 7:30, just going to get out of her car in the parking lot, and her crazy estranged husband assaulted her and then doused her with gasoline and lit her on fire.
Holy cow.
And it was all caught on office cameras, and that was a pretty horrifying thing that I would even know of that, yet alone someone that we works for us that we really care about, that was really hurt in a very horrible way.
Wow.
And so that was just a very, very low moment, and she probably would have died, but we were able to get her to the Jackson Burn Center, and she was in a coma for a few months, and she's recovering. It's really horrible.
She survived. Wow.
She survived, and we've kept her job open for her. So, and we kept taking care of her, and so we look forward for her actually coming back here in the next 3 or 4 months.
Sorry to hear that. Jeez.
So that was a very, very sad moment for all of us. And as far as a high moment, I think a high moment for me, because I'm really into the family business stuff. So I'm really happy that my daughter, who's really important, and my wife works with us full time, works here. And, in the future, I look forward to my sons working here and then my grandkids. So that's kind of a high moment. And we get a lot of reviews on the Ghostbed, and they just flow in constantly all day long. And they're just great. And it's a real buzz for me personally when I see that I had back pain and I slept on this and it's gone. I'm pregnant and couldn't sleep and it's gone. I had insomnia, it's gone. All these things that
the success stories, yeah.
How positive it had an effect on people's lives, because sleep, I know, is so important. And when you just keep seeing these stories every day come in, that's a high point. That to me is a big win.
Yeah. Mark, I want to be the first one to thank you. Hopefully when you come through Chicago, we'll get to meet in person. Everyone should check out ghostbed.com, and it's been fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sailing right now. I feel like 100 grand.